in order to go from where you are to the next level, there's an important skill that you'll have to master, and it's called sales. You will need to learn to sell your ideas, either to your partners, to your family, or to the people around you, or ultimately to your clients. If you don't master that skills, my friend, chances are you are not going to be able to actually access your next level. And this is absolutely key. But here's the funny thing. 80% of the leads that are going to come your way are not going to go anywhere because they are still going to be noise. And it's only about 20% of the leads that's going to come your way that you are going to be able to turn into something tangible or to turn into your client. But in order for that to happen, my friend, you will still need to master the essential or the basic fundamentals of this thing called sales. And this is exactly what I would like to discuss with you. Here's the funny thing. If you choose to ignore this video, as a person trying to go from level 1 to the next level, chances are you are not going to go really far, because people will still rely on you as the CEO of your ideas, as the CEO of your business, to come with a very convincing way of actually articulating your vision in the way that they want to actually be part of your vision. If you don't master that skill, my friend, they're simply going to turn to someone else who's going to show up with more conviction as far as selling the ideas is concerned. Oh, without further ado, let's get into the fundamentals. I will simply call it BFDP. What does it stand for? B is for what? B is for boldness. As the author of the 48 Rules of Power mentioned it brilliantly in his book. So you have to enter the room with boldness. Why? Because your level of boldness or your level of conviction is simply going to determine how the person you're talking to as a prospect is going to be receptive or open to your ideas. You have to enter the room with the charisma of someone who knows that yes, exactly what I'm bringing to the room is actually something of value. You have to value yourself. Once you do that, my friend, you enter the room, chances are people are simply going to have to be put at ease, because nobody wants to do business with someone that's actually struggling with any type of self-doubt. That's number one, it's boldness. But as you enter with boldness, you have to remember the F. F will simply stand for what? Focus. You have to know exactly what you want. You have to have a clear ideas. As I was saying a few days ago, success is the game of clarity. You have to have a clear idea as to what exactly you are trying to achieve as far as the transaction is concerned. That's very key. So again, B for boldness, F for focus. Enter the room with boldness, but remember exactly why you enter the room. And the next one is simply going to be a DB. D for what? Detachment. You enter the room with boldness, but you're going to be also, you know exactly what you want, but you're going to be detached from the outcome. You are not going there begging for the prospect to become your client. You are not entering the room begging for the client to simply find a way to see value in what you have to offer. You are completely detached from the outcome. But as you are practicing detachment, you also have to practice something really key, the act of presence. You have to be present to what the person has to say. And that's what basically you're going to such essential step that you have to consider when it comes to the act of presence. You have to be there and be able to acknowledge what the customer is saying. You have to empathize with what they're actually trying to share with you. You have to find a way to discover needs that they have not actually verbalized. And from that point, you have to find a way to overcome objection. But that's only going to be possible once you master the art of presence. You have to be present and simply say, I am here to listen. I'm not here to speak, but I'm here to listen. Because as I'm listening, I'm going to let the customer lead the conversation. And as the customer leads the conversation, I'm going to come to a point where I'm going to acknowledge what they're saying. I'm going to show empathy. Well, I need to show empathy. And from that point, I'm going to now come to a place where I'm going to start uncovering needs that were simply unspoken. And from that point, I'm going to learn how to overcome any objection and come back to a place where I'm going to bring them to F. Focus exactly what I want to put on the table as far as what they were looking for is concerned. All right, this is just the fundamental. Now let me give you just two key examples that are going to help you understand what I'm saying. In the 1940s, when young Sidney Poitier moved to America to live with his family, because in the Bahamas, his family simply realized that yes, there was not much future as far as the young man is concerned. So he was now sent back to America, where he was actually born. As he goes to America, he realized the only way for him to put food on the table or to attend to his own needs was by working. So he started working, but as he's working, he remembered that when he was actually a young boy back in Bahamas, he was telling his sister that yes, one day I'm going to be one of the A-listers as far as Hollywood is concerned. His family started looking at me simply saying, but my goodness, you don't know anything about Hollywood, but how can you possibly know that one day you're going to be one of the top actors as far as Hollywood is concerned? But he held on to the vision. That was his focus. So as he come to America and eventually moved from wherever he was all the way to New York City, he simply said one point, I'm working as a dishwasher on a daily basis, but I remember my focus. My focus one day was to simply go on to become an actor. Boldness. What does he do? He simply said to himself, I'm going to start looking for an opportunity to audition for any part as far as acting is concerned. So one day he sees an ad in the newspaper looking for potential actors to audition for a particular role. So he goes to the audition, boldness, believing that it was exactly what the director was looking for. He gets to the audition, he starts auditioning for the role, but at one point the director realizes that yes, Sidney Poitier was maybe good looking. He was full of confidence and full of boldness, but he could not read properly. So he kicked him out. As he kicked him out, the young man goes back to be a dishwasher. But as he's being a dishwasher, one day when he was minding his own business, an older man asked him, so what are you reading? He says, I'm just looking at a newspaper, but I don't know how to read, so please, I can't tell you exactly what's happening. The older Jewish man tells him, don't worry about it, I'm going to teach you how to read. So he taught the young man how to read, but ultimately the young man said, yes, the goal was not for me to actually be a dishwasher who can actually read. The focus was for me to be a dishwasher was going to make it big in Hollywood. So what does he do? He takes his bold self and he goes back to the same place where he'd been kicked out. He says, yes, I know exactly what I want, and I am a man of boldness, and I'm here to apply for another opportunity to work here, and in exchange he would teach me how to become an actor. And guess what? Because the young man was so bold and he knew exactly what he's looking for, guess what? They agreed to the transaction. He was going to work as a janitor for that particular a theater, and in exchange they were going to teach him the acting skills. And guess what? He learned so well that by the time in the 1967, when he was shooting a movie in the heat of the night, there was one particular scene where is investigating something that happened in a particular city, and he goes to this wealthy man. He's trying to challenge the wealthy man, and the wealthy white man was completely unimpressed by his boldness. The wealthy white man goes to him and simply slaps him in the face, pretty much like the same thing that happened between Chris Rock and Will Smith. But unlike Chris Rock, this young man, Sidney Poitier, slapped him back, and the white man was completely confused. Says, where did this young man get the boldness to slap me like this? Of course, this was fiction. So he turned the other police officers, would you let this guy slap me like this? And he simply said, yeah, I'm going to let it go. And guess what? When you look at the scene, you're going to come to realize that was nothing far beyond acting. The man believed in actually the need to be bold as far as his persona is concerned. So what was happening basically in his own personal life as he transcended and becomes a signature as far as his very presentation is concerned, a man of boldness. And he went on to simply make history as far as Hollywood is concerned. That's simply for bold focus. Now, for the last two part of this, the essential as far as selling is concerned, detached presence, I will simply tell you the following. And this may not resonate with some people. In a certain advance, I can tell you exactly, I can give you a warning. Back in the days, when the missionaries and mercenaries started traveling from Europe all the way to Africa and America, looking for ways to get access to the resources in this part of the world, they realized very quickly that their approaches were not actually working and giving the same type of result. The mercenaries, of course, were very rough with the local people. They were getting some result, but it was not as good and as on the same level as the result that the missionaries were actually getting. So very quickly, the merchants say to themselves, my goodness, there is a particular way that these missionaries are actually endearing themselves to the locals as far as how to get together with them and how to get them to get beyond the vision. So we need to start working with the missionaries, because we realize that when we go to Africa or America, the missionaries have to say a way to get together with the locals and be present. As they're being present, they're discovering the culture. They're learning to empathize with whatever's actually happening on the ground. They're learning to acknowledge whatever's happening. As they're acknowledging whatever's happening, then the people are opening more as far as whatever is actually happening as far as their communities are concerned. And from that point, they are now able to sell their vision. As they sell their vision, of course they are hearing objection. And guess what? The missionaries became so skilled they were now able to overcome these objections. And this is the reason why very quickly the mercenaries simply say, we are not going to be going beyond the churches, because these church people, they know exactly how to be present and how to be detached. They know exactly what they want, focused. They know how to be bold. They will go and not be intimidated by anyone, but they will know how to be present. But at the same time, how they're being present, they know also how to be detached, because it looks as if basically they were not in a rush. And because they were not in a rush, they were able to go deeper. As they've been in a relationship with these people, they've come to a place where these people are opening up more and more to them, and to the point where they start to acknowledge what's happening. They start trying to empathize with them, and from that point they will open up more. And as they're opening more, this missionary will now opening now the basket to say, here's a potential solution, here's a potential thing you can consider. And when the people simply say no, we don't want to consider that, they will simply skillfully offer ways to overcome the objection. And slowly but surely, that's how they were able to enter these territories without shedding too much blood. And that's something key that we can learn when it comes to sales. Well, you have to learn to remember your focus. What is it that you're trying to establish? That focus. Number two, you have to learn to come into the room with boldness, not be intimidated by anything you're going to see. Simply make sure that as you enter the room, you are bringing a certain level of confidence that's going to put the other party at ease. That's very key. Next, you have to go into the conversation by being present. As you're being present, you're simply going to give the other party an opportunity to open up. And as they're opening up, then you're going to find a way now to acknowledge, make them feel good about themselves. And as they feel good about themselves, guess what? The old wisdom still stands. People don't care so much about what you know, but they want to care. They want to see how much you care. And as they see how much you care, they're going to open up. And as they're opening up, then you're simply going to find ways to now start looking at potential solutions for them. And of course, they're going to say no. But how do you say no? Because you know how to be present, you're still now going to find ways to overcome the objection. And before you know it, my friend, because you are acting from a place of detachment, you are not desperate when it comes to how to close the deal. They want to start seeing you as an essential person, and before you know it, you're going to go from the person who was basically desperate to close the deal to say to yourself, yes, out of this 100 leads that's going to come my way, 80% are going to go anywhere. But for the 20% that are going to remain, I'm going to make sure to maximize my chances as far as how to close them. All right, my friend, I'm going to stop right here. Before I go, I would like to hear from you. How exactly do you approach sales as far as your life is concerned? How can I help you take your sales, your salesmanship from where you are to the next level? Because you know what, at the end of the day, it is absolutely essential. As the CEO of your business, you're going to simply have to find a way to become the master when it comes to how to sell your vision, to sell your ideas, not only to the customer out there, but to your own family and to the people around you, in order for you to go from where you are right now all the way to the next level. All right, much love, everyone. I'm out. Take good care.